And I just kind of hope we don't get buried somewhere deep in the pine barrens of Western Australia. I really don't feel good. It's getting a...
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
And what is the name of the place we're going?
Oh, it's called Gnangara Pine Plantation. Now, it's got a bit of a weird kind of history. I think it's known as Perth's unofficial graveyard because murderers have dumped bodies there, burying them deep in the pine kind of like plantation. But what we do know was that one of Western Australia's most notorious serial killers actually buried a body of one of their victims within the pine plantation. The only problem is we do not know where. And you know what? People have reported a whole heap of stuff. People have been chased by UFOs. People have seen cryptids within the pine plantation. And rumor is it is actually also quite haunted. So yeah, the question is, are you up for this?
Yeah, I'm putting my faith in you. What's the worst that can go wrong, right?
Famous last words, bro. I was feeling a degree of trepidation driving to that pine plantation with Steve that night. We were on our way to meet Zul, another friend of mine who had agreed to accompany us and film the walk. I had heard so many stories about that place, from murders by underworld figures, hasty burials by serial killers, and sightings of cryptids and UFOs amongst the pines. For all intents and purposes, it was a piece of land, remnants of an old pine plantation reclaimed by nature. I did not know where the night would take us. Would we have our own encounter, or come away empty-handed? Weirdly enough, it was the sense of uncertainty which spurred me on that night. I'm here with my mate Zul. You might remember Zul from the Ghost Cat video, and has decided to kind of show his face today.
Yep.
Also, behind the camera is my mate Steve. But basically, we are going to be hiking through this very creepy pine plantation. Now, as I mentioned in the car ride here, and even kind of Zul, you just mentioned it before, right?
Yeah.
You've heard stories of people being buried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buried and all types of
All types. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As I said before, this is Perth's unofficial graveyard.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And part of the rumors are underworld figures have taken people down here, left them, buried them, and left them.
Yep.
Right. So you would want to think that a place like this probably harbors a lot of restless spirits, restless souls.
Yeah.
How do you feel about kind of coming in here tonight?
Myself,
Yeah.
well, I had a walk in there before you guys came. Yeah, it's a bit eerie, hey?
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, man.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I was alone. I don't know, but yeah, it's just weird, man. Maybe it's nothing. I'm just we'll have a look, see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. You look uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's sort of like what the interview. Remember?
Okay. We are probably going to be hiking about 1.8 kilometers that way, straight up this trail. More than one SE member have warned me about going here tonight. What they said is that they can get quite physical. So that's what we've got so far. The night's not getting any more young.
Yep.
I reckon let's just bite the bullet and just walk through there.
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Jeez, is this spider webs here? I'm not scared about the ghost so much, but spider webs, shit. Yeah.
Straight, eh?
Yeah. Some ways down the road, the warning of my friend Asandra ran through my mind. As a First Nations woman with cultural ties to the area, she had encouraged me to seek permission to enter the plantation, as there was a strong Aboriginal dreaming connected to the land. I stopped my crew and I before we could continue to further venture into the trees and made my presence known to the guardians of the place. How easy it was to forget that the land had a strong native past prior to the arrival of the British. I acknowledge the ancestors in this area, traditional kind of elders, past and present, and I just asked permission for walking through this land. We mean no one any harm, and we were just kind of passing through. Yeah. So we're just kind of basically to be a bit respectful in this area.
Yeah.
And she's also warned me, none of you take anything with you from this place. Okay, so you were saying that...
Yeah, but it's just weird how you're saying all this, because that's pretty much the same like what I got taught. Don't whistle.
Yep.
And don't take stuff home with you.
Right.
In regards to maybe a rock or... Because, you know my point of view is so gin orientated, isn't it?
Very much so, yeah.
It's just, so, I'm not sure what we're going to deal with down here, but see what happens.
Yeah, let's just kind of see what happens. A further ways down the trail, I felt a strange sense of being watched. I stopped to confer with my crew. Alright, we've just stopped for a little while because at about the same time as Zul, I started feeling the kind of hairs on my hand kind of stand up. So, I mean, I'm about as psychic as a block of wood. I'm a bit of a skeptic in that, but I remember as my hairs was just kind of feeling the goosebumps come up. Zul, you start moving a little bit strangely, man. What are you feeling, bro?
Cold, eh?
Yeah. You know what it almost feels like? It feels like we pass in and out of bubbles.
Yeah, it's got really cold.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Okay. Like I'm not feeling anything physically scary or anything like that. I just the hairs on my body have just stood up. Maybe I will switch on the thermal imager. I took out my thermal imaging camera, which is a type of thermographic camera that renders infrared radiation as visible light, and it allows you to see in total darkness the heat profiles of things around you. And we're still about 200 meters away from the road.
Yeah.
So it's still in relatively. You see now, Zul, it's gone. Do you notice that? It's like you're walking, and then suddenly you have no idea why your hair's standing up.
Yeah.
And then now it just feels normal. Yeah. It feels okay. But just now, right, 10 meters back, that was a different story.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
Like when at my mate's thing.
This is the same feeling. Okay. And it's negative, it sounds like.
Jin. You tengok kita je.
In July of 2021, Zul recounted a harrowing encounter with a jinn in an industrial area in Perth, which took the form of a large black cat. For him, this felt like the same thing. Were we being stalked by something unseen? Oh, I just scared the shit out of myself. Can you see there's two lights there? It just came up, the reflection. Or at least I hope that's a reflection. You can see that? The light that I saw was reflecting off something in the distance, and it kept blinking in and out of existence when we shone our lights towards it. I wasn't quite sure what it was, and we decided to make our way towards it. Before long, we were confronted by a second gate, with high visibility vests hanging from them. So now, when we're looking right in front, there is a greater sense of foreboding. We are leaving the traffic behind us and heading a little bit more deeper into this kind of forest. The trees are pretty kind of tall here already. You can still hear the traffic and can still see it but that just looks ominous. The night was still peaceful as we continued our walk, until suddenly Zul stopped.
Yeah. Were you filming before?
No. What are you hearing?
Someone. Yeah. Yep.
So what are you feeling now, Zul?
Me now?
Yeah.
I just what I heard someone like breathing apart from us. But
Right.
we might have caught it.
We might, yeah, maybe on the camera. But look, I've got my phone here and I've got a recorder. Maybe it's time to do a bit of a recording. Maybe what we'll just do is we'll just stand here and maybe not say anything for about a minute and check your breathing so that we don't breathe out too loud. I'm going to start 1, 2, 3, now. We recorded for about a minute, but upon playback and analysis, there was absolutely nothing of interest on the tape. I was just mentioning to Zul that what it felt like before was that we'd hit pockets where all our hairs would just kind of stand on end. Now, as the SC members know, I'm a skeptic when it comes to things like this, and I'm not saying that I'm feeling something psychic that's going on. However, there's just, I'm just walking through spots and my hairs are standing up for no reason whatsoever. And I mentioned to Zul, like, it felt like as we were walking that if I wanted to let my imagination run wild a little bit, it just felt like something was just keeping pace with us, like kind of running alongside a car. But yeah, the feeling just comes and goes. Very, very unusual. And Zul, you were saying before that if we smell something like incense,
Yeah.
or like something medicinal, that we should maybe just shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up and just kind of just stay there.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just kind of move on. Get another reflection right in front of you. While walking down that unsealed road, I once again began feeling a strange sense of being followed. I felt goosebumps form along my left shoulder and down the side of my back. I asked Zul what he was feeling, and he agreed that something was there. I then inquired of him where the origin point of the sensation was coming from, and what it was that I might be feeling, just as a test. I was surprised and validated when he correctly identified both the location and physical feeling I was experiencing. Bro, right here, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly right here.
Yeah.
We continued along our journey, and aside from fleeting sensations of being watched, we were undisturbed. Nothing jumped out of the forest to attack us, except for the mosquitoes that night, which I swear were targeting me. But I had a solution: bug spray. We stopped for a few moments to orient ourselves, as we were heading to an area of the plantation and Asifan Debisaurus told us were inhabited by guardian spirits. We had been steadily walking towards this area, and we were making good time. I also decided to reach into my bag to ready my trusty electrician-grade EMF meter, and after installing a few batteries, we decided to continue walking. While doing so, Zul was drawn to a side track, and we soon found ourselves walking towards a large white tree that suddenly loomed out of the dark at us. Zul expressed his sense of discomfort at that tree, and his unease doubled when he noticed a small table and chair located at the bottom. Given his experiences with the Jinn cat and the lone white chair in his previous story, I could not blame him at all. I decided to do an EVP session, but like before, nothing turned up after we analyzed our recordings. It was then that I heard the small patter of footsteps to my right, and I stopped the session immediately. Bro, do you want to shine it over there? I've just heard like steps. Steve, can you see anything through there with the night vision? That big one, yeah? You don't like chairs after that last experience, hey? Did you hear that? That's not a car.
Whistle, right?
Yeah, and it was a tune.
Like that.
Holy moly!
Oh, that.
Hopefully we'll get that on. Hopefully we'll get that in video. Wow. Unfortunately, upon playback, our audio did not pick up anything except a weird, low droning sound. I am not looking forward going through the grass, not because of ghosts, snakes. Just snakes. I don't like snakes. I like snakes, but I don't like snakes when I can't see the snakes. Does that make sense? You know what? I'm holding this in front of me like a freaking crucifix. I'm just doing this, hoping nothing rushes at me. As we were walking and just talking about generic stuff, I caught sudden movement to my left. I just saw another freaking thing just run across. Just then. Not even out of the corner of my eye.
Darting.
Just there. Darting from right to left. Really? I'm sure enough of what I saw that I am going to do the thermal imager there. And I'm going to be very brave, and I'm going to walk in there and see if I can see anything. That's a car. Phew! Sweet Lord. Man, I hate walking on the ground that I can't see. So tell us about snakes, Steve. If we're walking and making a lot of noise like that, that's not going to be a problem, is it?
Yeah, probably not. They tend to sense vibrations, so
They'll be
probably
moving
keep
away
on going.
before we do, right?
Yeah.
They'll be sensing us way before we sense anything. So that's the difficulty about this thermal imager right now. The trees are retaining the heat, and because they're living things, they're also kind of retaining heat, right? And I can't see any fluctuations past a certain point in temperature, but I am certain I just saw something run past just now. Even with the extra visibility provided by the FLIR thermal imager, I was unable to uncover what it was I had actually seen. We continued towards our destination after that, which was an area to the northwest side of the plantation, in which our consultant SC Psychic had mentioned was occupied by a local guardian spirit, in the hopes of capturing something truly paranormal. When we arrived, we heard loud sounds from the bush and stopped immediately. What's your thoughts, Yuzul?
See that? What's that?
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo?
Yeah, they sound like hops. Can't see it though.
Hear that, ain't you?
Oh, I heard that. But that did sound like something.
Yeah, I can see it on the night vision. Is it something else? No.
I wonder if it's already gone in. I want to try to see if it's on thermal.
Should be if it's there. There it is again.
You know, I find very interesting. The first spot of movement that we've heard has been in the area that someone has claimed that there's a guardian here.
Did you pick up a kangaroo or anything, Sue?
I couldn't see it.
There's nothing.
It just sounded like that very recognisable thud.
Pop, 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 right?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna put on my light so I can see on the ground that I'm walking through.
Yeah, the light's actually really good. They work well with the infrared. I can see way.
Kind of picking up something a little bit in the distance. What? Where?
There.
Again?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Look at that bush I was talking about. That's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird looking bush, eh? Again, thump, thump. As we stood there, we heard further sounds from the bush ahead of us. The sound moved deeper and paused, almost as if it was beckoning us to follow. And we did.
Down there. That's it. Serious.
Did you see something?
You hear it? I'm telling you, I heard it. I'm telling you.
No, it's that little kind of like a little tree trunk there. Can you see it's a tree trunk?
No, and then
hot. The bush went silent after that, and it seemed it was done with us. It was getting late, and we started to head back towards our cars. We intended to stop by one last destination on the way back. This was the place our psychics had sensed the presence of an angry female spirit lurking around the trees and bushes. We're heading back to our vehicles now, almost coming to the end of the night, but I've saved the best area for last. Now apparently our SC fan psychic has said that there is a strong impression of a female entity in this area that is very angry, in between her 30s and her 40s, and she wants revenge and is apparently a little bit touchy-feely. So I reckon, I agree with you, Steve, let's maybe head down this road maybe for about 50 meters and then chuck a hard right and go all the way down. Let's do it. And you know what? For this ending part, the walk there was uneventful, and we were struck by how beautiful the night was. It was great to be outdoors underneath the trees, the stars, and the silver moon. Soon we arrived at our destination, and we were confronted by a long white log set in the middle of a clearing. An overgrown track. You can almost kind of like imagine that that she just sits here at night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Taking it easy.
Just taking it easy, right? Like, it is absolutely nuts. Nothing. I mean, let's just thank God it's nothing, but I want to go. I reckon let's go that direction. Despite the eeriness of the spot, nothing was happening. It was getting late, and we decided to continue on the last leg of our journey towards our cars. On the way back, our cameraman Steve suddenly stopped and whirled around in alarm. And another time.
Wait. Yeah, is that you? Something, it was like literally right there.
Like a sound of movement?
I don't know, it was weird. It sounded like small footsteps, but like not footsteps, I don't know how to describe it. We'll probably hear it on the recording maybe.
Unfortunately, once again, nothing turned up in our analysis of our recordings that night.
When I heard those, whatever it was, and I spun around, you know when you guys talked about it felt like someone was watching us?
Yes.
It was that sensation. I didn't know whether it was just like my mind playing tricks on me.
Right. It's the first time you felt something coming in here.
Yeah, yeah. It might have just been something I heard and my mind got tricked, but... Alrighty guys, tell us about the night. What happened?
I don't know, do you want to take this one first, Zul? What's your feeling for the night?
Where the that tree that I pointed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and then a couple of sounds where the girl said, or the psychic said that yeah, that was, I don't know, that's too much of a coincidence for me to be honest, but apart from that, be alright I reckon.
Yeah. Same like you, man. I think walking down this road
Yeah.
towards there and kind of feeling your hairs kind of stand up.
A couple of spots.
Yeah, a couple of spots. Nothing in the bush whatsoever. And yeah, I do agree. I think that what a coincidence that the spot that they reckon was...
There was a kangaroo, right?
There was a guardian there. Yeah. They actually saw we actually heard a kangaroo, or what we think is a kangaroo, moving through the bush.
Kangaroo had balls, so it didn't run away, right? Hop away.
It didn't run far.
That's what I'm saying.
It almost like, it kind of hopped, like maybe 10 meters, and then stopped.
Yep.
And I would have thought, unless they had young there, but I really doubt it. Other than that, it's actually a beautiful place to walk through at night. My hay fever's playing up, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I just realised we've been walking around all night and we only heard one kangaroo.
Yeah.
And that's strange, huh?
At the spot where that girl said
Yeah, at that one spot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird. Man.
And that was the spot we were heading to, anyway. So, I don't know what your thoughts on that. Were you expecting to hear more kangaroos, Steve? Or?
I mean, it could just be a coincidence, to be honest, but it's just interesting that we covered quite a lot of ground tonight, and yeah, one kangaroo. Definitely possible, but...
You know, how I've mentioned before that there were murders kind of committed here, people's bodies were buried, and to be really honest with you, this area has been kind of like, cleaned up and beautified and stuff like that, and I don't think they would have buried those bodies near here. If I was to bury a body,
They'd be in there.
I'd go further in there.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing around here. Because I think it can be so easily, well, this was in the 90s, see, so it's kind of not now. But it's easy to be disrupted or, interrupted by someone.
What do you think about the temperature spikes and what that might be related to?
I don't know. The road that we're walking on is just one large road that goes all the way down. We're kind of ringed by trees. I'm thinking if I were to offer a rational or scientific explanation, it creates a wind tunnel. You know, and also we don't have any trees above us, and it's colder here than it is inside, and even the thermal imager is picking that area up as a lot warmer than where we're walking. So if I were to put it, I would say it's just completely just nature. However, my hair standing up had nothing to do with the cold.
Yeah, and how like
It had nothing to do with the cold, so it wasn't like I felt cold and you know, it's like, you know, you come up from a shower and your hair stands up on end. No, it's not that. It was just a real feeling, and I just found it really strange that the moment I felt it, I looked to you, and you were doing this, right?
Yeah.
And when I asked you where do you think it was, you said it was
in your back.
back that way, and that's exactly the place that I felt it. So again, a lot of coincidences kind of adding up, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully we pick something up in the camera.
Yeah, let's hope some of the sounds and the stuff that we've heard, and also the sound recording. Hopefully that something shows up.
Yeah.
But as it is, I think it was a pretty nice walk out. Several points of interest, but nothing too hair-raising.
Nothing really.
Yeah. How about yourself, Steve?
Yeah, like I said, I think it was a pretty nice night, to be honest. Perfect weather, pretty chill. I had one, sound that I heard, but I again didn't know that it was just the mind playing tricks on me. So I think if all of us had noticed something at the same time, it would have been hard to argue.
Yeah. To all the SC fans and family, thank you so much for joining us on a walkthrough of the Gnangara Pine Plantation tonight. Hey, it was an interesting walk. Whether we saw and heard paranormal things, guys, we'll leave that up to you. But thanks a lot. See you later.
What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.